Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's try Arena Clash of Champions. It's by Cliffhanger Productions. It's a turn-based strategy game. Right now you can pick it up on Steam Early Access for PC and Mac for $7.99. It's going to be free to play at release, so to compensate for the $8 charge to get into the Early Access, you'll get a few things. One, you'll get an extra friend code to get a friend in. You'll get 3 champions, Aurora, Bloody Mary, and Steel Fist Crank, and a ship, the Tesla, which I believe once the game goes live you normally will pay for. I'm not sure what their free-to-play model works like, or if they've even identified exactly how they're going to do that. My understanding is that you'll have access to certain champions, and those champions that you have access to in the free-to-play version will rotate from time to time. So if you have very specific champions that you want, then I think you will purchase them again. I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't 100% clear on their Steam page. Anyway, you can also get it on Android, again, via an early access program, though I don't think you actually have to pay for it on Android. Just the way Steam is set up, you have to have a price for early access, so that's why they did that. I think it is available for PC and Mac. They've also got it planned later on for iOS. I did not see a date for that. However, the final launch is expected for the first quarter of 2014. So with that, all of that out of the way, let's hop right into the game. So here we have our general menu here. A lot of these things, when you click on them, well, not the shell generator, but like the shop, it's not implemented yet, it's coming soon. The big things that are working right now are Proving Grounds and Play League. League is the online multiplayer. Unfortunately, so far, I haven't had a lot of luck getting that to work. I've usually sit in the queue for quite a while, and then twice I've actually got a game, but then it matched me against someone who wasn't there. It would say like Vertigo Tea Party versus blank, and I would just win automatically. So I think they're still working on that aspect. So let's go ahead and go to the Proving Grounds. This is where you practice against the AI. I do wish there was some kind of progress that you could make, much like Combat Monsters, where you have a campaign. Maybe you don't even have a full campaign, just some kind of progression, because they've said otherwise, but it feels like when you're doing this over and over, you're just fighting the same heroes over and over. There's no real difference. Now here you can pick your ship. Honestly, I have no idea the difference between the ships, because I would hope that normally when you click here, it would come up with a description on why they're different. Maybe they're not different other than the way they look. So let's go ahead. We will pick the Tesla, since that's the one you get with your $8 purchase, and we will hit continue. Now we have our champions. Now this champion's actually brand new, Baron Rogue. When I loaded the game up today, they had just added him, so that's pretty cool. So when you click on the characters, it gives you their story, it gives you, just gives you a brief description, it tells you the abilities that they have. For now, you know what, let's go ahead and, since he's new, we'll go ahead and throw him in here. Now here is the list of all the heroes that you can take with you. I don't know how you unlock additional slots. Maybe this is something to do with experience, or maybe you pay to unlock additional slots. But this is all the heroes that I have selected. And we'll go continue. Now you have your shells. Each ship has 3 different types of shells that you can have. Again, you can click on these and it will tell you what they do, how much they cost, etc. I'm just going to keep my default shells, and I'll try to remember to use them so that you guys get an idea what they are. Let's go ahead and hit get ready, and we'll wait for it to load up.
Today, live, another exciting
I'll wait for this to finish.
And here are the fearless combatants.
Now here it's going to be a little difficult for me to explain, because I do it very quickly, because you do have a timer. So first things first, you want to deploy the heroes. You can only have 3 heroes out at a time. Let's go ahead and put our boxer guy out first, since he's new. Now he can go anywhere within these squares, so let's put him right here. Actually, you know what? He doesn't need line of sight for a lot of his abilities, I think. So we're going to put him here.
Voila, Baron Rouge.
And then now the enemy will go. The idea here is to destroy the enemy's ship. And let's go ahead and deploy. Actually, let's wait for the timer, just so we can try to get as much description in as possible. You can see the enemy ships over here get 15 hit points. It's got 0 Æther, and we can click on the ship itself. Same goes for us. Actually, I can't see our ship stats. Let's get the Butcher out. He's actually pretty darn good.
Uh-oh, it's the Butcher.
So again, we can see our health here is 15 and 1 Æther. Oh, it's waiting on us again. And down here you can see the order of the heroes, so you can see who's coming up next, etc. This is your abilities menu. Now every time you attack, you get Æther. And these higher abilities cost more Æther. So like this one is free, or costs 1. I don't really know for sure. Oh, let's go ahead and deploy someone. We'll go ahead and deploy Bloody Mary. She's got a nice range.
Bloody Mary.
And when you deploy a character, you can attack with them that round. That's the only thing they can do. Normally you get two things you can do. You can move and attack, you can attack and attack, or you can move and move. So this guy, we can click on his portrait and we can see everything, all of his abilities. Right now, obviously, we don't have a lot of choices, but you can see here the eye is crossed out. He doesn't need line of sight to use it. However, he does need to be close, I think. Oh, it's range. See, now this is kind of annoying that you can't pause. Oh, I couldn't get rid of it. There are little usability issues that definitely could use that could stand to be added. For example, 1, I can't pause. But 2, if I click on this and then I said, oh, I'm not at a range, I should be able to right click or left click or escape to get out of it. But instead I have to go back, click this again, and now select to move. So let's actually move him to the health square so that he gets healed up. And we will go ahead and attack so that we can actually do something this round. Now these yellow squares are beneficial squares. Orange are negative squares, so you generally don't want to end up in the negative squares. However, several of your characters have abilities that will push or pull enemies, so you want to try to use that to your advantage. Now they've killed the butcher for me, and that actually did, I think, Æther and health damage to my ship. I know it does health damage. So let's go ahead and with her, she gets kind of a cross section of attack range. The orange shows where she can attack with this attack. So we're going to go ahead and attack him twice. I was trying to decide how I wanted to do this. And we're not going to be super tactical here because, again, I'm having to kind of talk quickly and cover the various things because we are very limited in time that we have to use, which I don't like that. Multiplayer, fine. Absolutely, time range or time limits make sense. But in this, when I'm just playing the computer, let me pause. And I don't think I can. Like escape doesn't do anything. P doesn't seem to do anything. So that is pretty annoying, to be honest. So let's see. Now, I'll see on a lot of these icons, I don't know what they mean. I've just had to kind of figure them out. And that brings me to my #1 complaint with this game so far. We're going to move him up here. And, oh, we've got, what is this one? In your face. Knockback's an enemy champion. Let's do that just to show you how it works. It's a long range punch. It is a big deal too that they do not need line of sight, or his abilities don't require line of sight. That could be very, very handy to say the least. Oh, okay, now we can spawn another champion. We don't have to spawn who went out. The butcher. We don't have to put the butcher back in, but he is very good. So we will go ahead and put the butcher back in. And this lady's only got 1 health left. So we're going to actually spawn him over here.
It's the butcher.
But again, keep in mind, since I just spawned him, he cannot attack. So now it's the enemy's turn to attack. He's probably going to kill Bloody Mary here. Doesn't have a lot of hit points. And as you can imagine, there's different types of heroes. Some who don't have very much hit points, but they have more ranged attacks. So, you know, glass cannon type thing where he puts to keep them in the back. So whose turn is it? It's Bloody Mary's turn. Or wait, what? Oh, no. So let's choose a different champion. I'm not crazy about her. The insect guy person. We will summon him here because he's a long-ranged attacker. At least I think he is. I'm still learning the heroes. And notice they're attacking my ship directly. Bloody Mary is actually quite good for attacking the ship at range. She has a pretty darn decent range. In fact, this guy's close enough now to be attacking them. Or attacking the ship, possibly. Yeah, in fact, we'll do that. He's like how he's punching the ship from like 3 squares away and through a block. That's pretty impressive. I gotta give him that. But yeah, one of my major complaints about this game is that it doesn't explain things very well at all. It just kind of throws you in, and on top of that,
A direct hit to the hull.
they used a shell. I need to start using shells so that you guys get a good idea of how that works. If they don't destroy my ship. Actually, she's probably going to destroy my ship. Nope. Okay. So first things first, we got to get this lady killed. Because we are down to 2 hit points, which is no es bueno. We have 10 Æther. Now we have this ability here. Deals 3 damage to the enemy ship. And it uses 7 of our Æther, which is pretty much mana. Let's go ahead and use that against the ship.
Hit to the hull. Scorching.
Oh, and they used a scorching shell against my boxer guy. So yeah, we're probably going to lose this. But again, the tutorial aspect is really wanting. Again, primarily because it doesn't give you enough time to really mess with it. Again, just to quickly show you some of these abilities that these guys have. Deals 1 to 2 damage to an enemy target in range, and this kind of shows you the range. I guess it means 3. Doesn't require line of sight. And I don't know what these icons mean. Oh, let's very quickly attack. Again, I really wish you could pause against the computer. There's really no reason I shouldn't be able to pause against the computer. And it destroyed my ship.
Team lost today.
And these, I have no idea what these are. Hovering over them doesn't do anything. Again, keep in mind this is early access, so a lot of this stuff will be fixed. And hopefully, if developers are listening, a lot of the stuff they either already knew about or things that they were going to add anyway. We're going to play another match. Let's go ahead and we'll keep our same troops, our same shells. So yeah, it does not do a good job at all of teaching you to play the game. It's pretty much just figuring stuff out on your own. I really don't like that, especially, again, when we have a timer and you're trying to read, oh, what are these abilities, and trying to figure out what this, oh god, I've only got 30 seconds, I'm going to hurry up and figure this out. It's just incredibly frustrating to try to figure out what does what. Let's go ahead and we'll bring Bloody Mary out. We're going to put her here.
Bloody Mary.
Because this gives her an extra Æther, which again, Æther acts as mana. You get Æther by either attacking enemies or by these squares, which give them to you. Maybe other things do it. Again, it's not really explained that well on how to get your Æther up. Let's go ahead and get the Butcher out here.
Uh-oh. It's the
One strategy I really like is getting the Butcher on one side of this square. This square is really nasty, the orange skull. If I pull an enemy on it, which is something the Butcher can do, they will die instantly. So no matter how many hit points they have, they'll die instantly if they fall on this. And that's good because 1, you're taking enemy out of commission, and 2, because we're going to keep this guy in the back. We'll put him right here. Because 1, you're taking enemy out of commission, obviously, and 2, again, it damages the ship whenever you kill a hero. You can also knock heroes off the side, which is, of course, always fun. So it's Bloody Mary's turn. Now, because she landed on an Æther slot, she actually can use this long shot ability. So I'm actually going to use that on the ship. And luckily, while it's doing the animation, the timer does not count down. And we're actually going to move her up for the second round, just to get her closer to the ship, so she doesn't have to use that sniping ability. Because her normal range isn't that great. But again, that's their version of Bloody Mary, I think. Yes, because it's pretty much the same animations, just a different skin. Alright, so what we're going to do here, because I'd like to get him over there and pull her over, but he won't have the Æther for it. What's the range on this? That's very short range. So I'm going to go ahead and move him here and then buzz her. And he is going to hang around this square so that I can at some point pull an enemy into it. And if this guy stays right there, I might be able to do it pretty easily. Of course, unfortunately, they seem to know he's very dangerous, so they are having none of that. Okay, so we now have our particle charge. It deals 1 to 2 damage to an enemy target within range. Does not require line of sight. Within 3 squares, and then whatever. Oh, I think this means I can target a regular enemy or the ship with it. That's what that means. So again, you can see he's got a good range, but his hit points not so good. And it doesn't require line of sight, which is, needless to say, a pretty big deal. So we want to stay, the idea is to stay away from these enemies if at all possible, but still be able to attack them. Okay, she's moving straight up to try to take the the ship out if she can. All right, we got Bloody Mary over here. Again, she's going to just focus on bringing the ship down. We've already got it down to 6, and she's got one more attack. And there's no really point to using the sniper attack because we're already in range. So go ahead and pop it again. This does 2 to 1 or 2 damage. We already got their ship down to 4. Ours is at 14. So right now she is a huge threat. So now we're back to the butcher. He has 3 Æther, I guess. As you can see, the hook pulls the target towards the butcher and deals 2 damage. I don't know if he's close enough. Yes, he is close enough. So you can see how incredibly powerful pushing is in just a second. Pushing and pulling is in a second. So we've pulled him right on top of that, and he is going to die. Yep. We will go ahead and we'll use this shell on her.
Cranking up the heat.
4 damage. We don't want to take any damage to the ship, even though, again, this is pretty much over now. Oh, and by killing that hero, we actually killed the enemy ship. I will go ahead and try to get into an online game here. We start the search. I'm going to just keep all my stuff and let it search. And while it's doing that, I'll talk about the game a bit more. And I'll talk about positives and negatives that I have with it. First of all, when you're waiting for an opponent, I would like to be able to just go back out to the main screen and maybe do some skirmishes against the computer. That way, you know, just getting practice in, learning new strategies, etc. I don't want to just sit here and wait searching for a match. Now, obviously, once they get this fixed, you won't have to wait as long. But still, let me go do skirmishes against the computer. Just like, say, in Street Fighter or a lot of other fighting games, you can just fight against the computer doing the campaign or whatever. And then as soon as you get a match, you jump straight into the match after you've got your ship and all that stuff picked out. So I think that would be very, very good to put in. Also, there needs to be a distinctive sound when it actually finds... Oh, wait, it stopped searching for match. Oh, I went back too far. My bad. There needs to be a distinct sound when it makes a match, especially if you're not going to let me do skirmishes with a computer. Because, like, let's say this is going and I want to Alt-Tab and, you know, read Reddit or watch Vertigo Tea Party podcasts while I'm waiting. There really needs to be a distinct sound that goes, you know, ding, whenever a match is ready, so that I know, oh, it's time to pause the Super Game Talk Turbo HD Remix podcast that you're listening to go hop into the game. So that would be another feature that I would like to see. Again, keeping in mind this is early access. A lot of this stuff might have been planned already. I'm just kind of throwing out my opinions on what could be done to enhance the experience. And again, you know, descriptions of the ships, given that shells and characters give descriptions when you click on them, I'm assuming that that's coming for the ships as well, unless the ships are entirely cosmetic. I honestly am not sure. Of course, I could have checked when playing and compared the health versus the Æther that they have, but I didn't because I'm lazy and I have a terrible memories. There needs to also be in the when fighting the computer, needs to be a pause. When I'm going against the computer, just let me pause. I mean, I guess you could abuse that by sitting there and chess-like thinking of all the possible strategies, but let's be honest, when you're playing the computer, more often than not, you're going to pause because you've got a phone call, or you need to run to the restroom, or something has come up that you just want to pause the game, and it's not that you're trying to come up with a mastermind plot to overcome the super difficult computer. So give me a pause option in versus the computer, and maybe even in the PvP, and do it kind of like StarCraft 2 does it, where each player has like 2 pauses or 3 pauses, and if you use those pauses up, you're done. And with a short game like this, giving each player 1 pause, maybe 2, would keep it from being abused too much. So if something does happen, you can always pause the game or just forfeit. I mean, that's not a big deal, but I do want to be able to pause, especially when I'm trying to learn the game. It's frustrating to try to read everything and sort it all out when there's a timer constantly ticking in the background. And like I say, too, some kind of campaign would be nice. Not really required. I think the focus of this game is almost certainly going to be on the player versus player But yeah, it would be nice just to have it, again, just to practice with. Or even something to increase the difficulty, maybe settings when your skirmishes against the computer, maybe up the difficulty of the AI, or even make it harder for yourself. So say you add modifiers so that the enemy ship has more hit points or the enemy hero has more hit points, making it harder for you and therefore making you a better player. Overall though, I've enjoyed the strategy aspect. It seems like games would be pretty short, especially with the force timer and PvP. It seems like the multiplayer matches would be pretty quick. It is cross-platform, and it wasn't stated explicitly that I saw, but I'm pretty sure that means that you can also play with other players so if you're on the PC, you can play against people who are on Mac or who are on Android or who are later on iOS. So that's good because it gives more of a player pool out there to compete against. There is a chat room as well. As you can see, it's very, very active. There's 271 folks online, which is, again, not surprising given the fact that it's early access, and I don't think it's gotten a whole lot of press up until now. And it doesn't look like we're going to get a multiplayer game. Again, maybe it's something with my network settings that's causing a problem. I don't really know, but I haven't been able to get a multiplayer match. But hopefully, I would assume that's something that they're going to figure out, since this does seem to be a very multiplayer-focused game. Let's go ahead and back out of that. But that is Arena Clash of Champions. And you also get the shell generator. Like over time, it generates shells for you. Like this one, knock back all champions adjacent to a friendly champion. That one could actually be incredibly useful, especially if your champion is close to a edge and you could push other heroes over the edge and kill them instantly. But it's a fun little game. It's easy to pick up. It seems like one that once you put more time into it, there could be some interesting strategies that you could come up with battling other players. And again, it seems like most games against other players would be relatively short, so that if you just want to sit down for a quick game or two, or if you have your tablet or your phone while you're on the train or just out and about, you could throw down a few quick matches. I would like to see a little bit more information about the free-to-play aspects. What's going to be free, how are they figuring out what you get without paying versus what do you pay for, what's the cost of the champions, what's the cost of the ships, etc. But I imagine that stuff will come out as we approach the launch window, which is again the first quarter of 2014. But yeah, definitely take a look at this game if you're interested. Again, if you buy the $8 version on Steam early access, you do get an extra key. So if you have a friend who you like to play with, you might want to go ahead and maybe split the cost, give him the extra key. There's also more features coming up that they've listed on the Steam page, things like friends list, friendly tournaments. So if you have a few friends who playing this, you could set up tournaments. So that sounds all good. And again, they actually just added a new champion today or yesterday, so they are adding it and updating it. So yeah, definitely check it out. And of course, you can check it on Android if you have an Android device for free to see if it's to your liking. But anyway, yes, again, this was Arena Clash of Champions. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave comments in the description below. Let me know if you've played it. Let me know what you think of it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. I try to get out several of these videos every week covering games you might or may not have heard of. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.